We're Basin trusted, Basin proud. This is Big 2 First News at 11.
Midland confirming its 10th coronavirus-related death. Good morning. I'm Amanda Mason. Thanks for joining us for Big 2 First News at 11. Now, the woman in her 90s was being treated at Midland Memorial Hospital. Officials saying Midland Medical Lodge was not isolating properly.
Working with the rapid response team, that the facility was not completely isolating the infected patients or residents well. So it was in their best interest to clear it out, clean it up, get the infection control under better control, and move forward from there.
And here's a breakdown of confirmed COVID-19 cases in the basin. Ector County with 94. Midland County has reached 100 positive cases. All other counties remain the same. And Midland Health will also start testing the area food banks. Now, the first screening effort was held Wednesday. More than 150 flyers were handed out with testing information on them. So far, there have been no positive tests that have come from that testing site.
But we will expect to repeat that, as well as repeating our team's presence at the Breaking Bread Soup Kitchen again in the days ahead. So very successful day yesterday at the food bank, touching a number of people who might not have been screened before this.
The city of Odessa keeping pools closed throughout the summer. Officials say there is just too much risk to open pools. One Ector County commissioner saying that they are not closing the pools to hurt any business or apartment complex.
We're doing this for the good of everybody in the community. We're making these decisions not just off of a whim, but after careful consideration and discussions with all the parties involved in this.
Commissioner Shelton says social distancing is the best way to keep this virus at bay. And non-essential medical professionals in the basin are now allowed to open for business, but many will have to change the way that they handle operations. One Odessa dentist is making some new changes to his practice. He's been closed the entire quarantine, even though they were allowed to reopen. He says the changes they have had to make has caused him to have to wait to see his patients.
We've got 18 rules that we have to comply by, including things that for my office have involved a remodel, putting in walls and acrylic partitions for the staff to prevent the spread of coronavirus, to help our patients, our parents, as well as my staff, to prevent them from becoming ill.
Dr. Miller says that he hopes to be able to see more patients again on Monday. Midland County's chat service is giving officials valuable data. County Judge Terry Johnson is asking for more residents to now participate. Currently, the county has 985 total residents subscribed to the service. Chat is used to determine what actions the county needs to take in the case of a spike of COVID-19 cases.
I think it's more important than ever that we monitor the health of the community. This is just one tool to do it. But if it starts taking a spike, and we see that spike going across the state also from other areas, it'll let us know what we need to do to keep everybody safe.
To see more data and to find out how you can participate, you can visit our website, yourbasin.com. Senior centers in Midland are now offering drive-through meals. Both senior centers had to close back in March because of COVID-19, but volunteers still show up every Thursday to hand out food donated by local businesses.
Our seniors they're the ones that paved the way for us to have the things that we have, to be in the positions that we're in, and I think it's important that we take care of them.
There's a long list of donors, and they include Texas Roadhouse, Atmos Energy, and Frost Bank, just to name a few. It's National Nurses Week, and we're highlighting Basin heroes. We spoke to a local nurse who's sharing her experience on the front lines of the pandemic. Big 2's Felice Romero has her story.
Crystal Alexander says even on the hardest days, she never questions her career choice. And the support of her community and her colleagues during this time means everything. Crystal Alexander says being a nurse was always her calling. Now, more than ever, she has a strong motivation to help her patients get better.
We all knew that we had to be here no matter what, and so the best way to sometimes calm your anxiety is to take part in an action to make it better, right? So if we've got a problem and you're doing something about it, that usually helps.
During the pandemic, Alexander has worked with COVID-19 positive patients and says the hardest part is the physiological toll it takes on healthcare providers.
These people in your community, especially in a small community like this, these are your neighbors, your friends, your family, and so you're concerned about them. And, you don't have the same outlets socially or the same activities, fitness, things that we would normally use to kind of decompress.
She says this Nurse Appreciation Week in particular has been very special to her. Seeing the community rally around nurses has given her the courage to get up and do it all over the next day, even on the harder days.
Your love tank starts to get a little bit empty, when you're dealing out so much compassion, you're being these people's support persons and taking care of them. We really need to be filled back up, and that's really what I think it's doing for us. People seem to be more thankful. It's just really remarkable, the people in the community that have shown their support and to know that people are backing you.
Alexander says compassion goes a long way, and just taking time to understand one another and sympathize with one another can really help, especially during these times. Reporting in Odessa, I'm Feliz Romero.
And many first responders are being fed in Odessa as a way for residents to say thank you. Carl's Ambulance, TAC Med, and First Flight Air all teamed up to say thanks to first responders. ECSO, Odessa Police, and firefighters were fed hamburgers and hot dogs outside the Central Fire Station. Officers say that they felt the love.
I love the support with everything going on. It's nice to know that people step up and show their appreciation to all the men and women that work as first responders.
Odessa's always been very supportive of first responders, and I tell you what, it makes it easy to be a first responder here and a peace officer here. We serve a great community.
We want to let them know that we're here helping them in any way we can, as far as feeding them and giving them our support.
The food was given out for free to all area first responders. Americans lost a record 20.5 million jobs last month. That makes April the largest single month of job losses since the Bureau of Labor Statistics began tracking the data in 1939. The unemployment rate soared to 14.7% in April. The last time American joblessness was that severe was the Great Depression. Losses in April follow steep cutbacks in March when employers slashed 870,000 jobs. Some Texans just working to make ends meet.
My wife is pregnant with our first child, and we're expecting in August. So with all of this hitting, and not having the income from a job, and the ability to not really have family and friends around, we're obviously concerned about payment, being able to afford having a child, but also when the child does come. His family can be able to come, visit and see.
The number of coronavirus cases in the U.S. approaching 1.3 million and the death toll passing 75,000. At least 44 states have lifted some restrictions as parts of the country try to get back to business. A person was hit and killed by an airplane landing at Austin's International Airport last night. The pilot of the Southwest Airlines Flight 1392 maneuvered to avoid hitting the person on the runway when landing. Shortly after the Boeing 737 touched down, the person was found to be dead. An airport spokesperson says that they do not believe that person was supposed to be on the runway. Austin police say that person was not dressed as an airport worker and had no ID. And a man is caught on camera stealing a Marine flag. The crime happened Wednesday morning outside a home in Lubbock. Homeowner and former Marine Joe McDonough says that he was upset that someone would do this. His neighbors say they were surprised this happened, especially with all the cameras set up in the neighborhood.
People know that people have cameras, and his camera is very visible right by the flag that he stole.
I can always get another flag, you know what I mean? And if someone really wanted something like that, I wouldn't have a problem, giving it to them. But, when you come steal it, it's just not, it's not right.
Lubbock Police is asking anyone with information to come forward. More states across the country are easing restrictions despite the rising number of coronavirus cases in some. We are now up to 44 states that are lifting some social distancing rules, Texas being one of them. ABC's Matt Gutman has a story.
This morning, with those gates going up and foot traffic going in the nation's so-called soft open. As of today, 44 states easing at least some COVID restrictions. And starting this morning, California now calling on low-risk retailers to offer hands-free purchasing options through curbside pickup. The governor revealing the first known case of COVID in the state happened in a salon.
This whole thing started in the state of California, the first community spread in a nail salon. And I'm very worried about that. And many of these salons with people that had procedure masks on were using gloves and were advancing higher levels of sanitation.
And starting tomorrow in Nevada, where COVID has ravaged the tourism industry, you'll be allowed to dine at a restaurant at 50% capacity, excluding casinos. And in Indiana, places of worship opening doors today ahead of weekend services. In Texas, personal services like salons and barbershops opening today. But Texas is one of nearly 20 states, most of them in the center of the country, that are opening while COVID cases and deaths continue to climb. Rebecca Duane's husband works at a meat plant in Corpus Christi, which remains open because food plants have been declared critical infrastructure.
It's scary seeing my husband like that, and he's always like this tough, I'm fine, I'm okay. No, this is not okay. People are not taking it serious.
He was diagnosed positive on Monday.
And to find a full list of when certain businesses can reopen again in Texas, you can visit our website, yourbasin.com.